Lewis Barry, thanks for coming on.
No worries, dude.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah, good. Firstly, again, you've had me in your home. Thank you for having me. Again, it's always a sort of a pleasure and that sort of going to people's home, and I think it shows a nice bit of trust. Again, I'm not a dodgy dude anyway, but again, but again, it can be a bit sort of spooky or whatever, having sort of randoms in your house. So, firstly, thank you for that. Been up to much lately?
No, just work, football.
Yeah.
Been running a lot. I'm training for an ultramarathon at the moment.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
So that's up Snowdon. So I've been doing a lot of running. Just got back at the gym yesterday.
Yeah.
About 6 months off. So
okay.
Getting my fitness back in and stuff like that.
Yeah, fair play. Same. I'm trying to get on it. I've got some. I'm doing I'm a bit more kettlebell training and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of enjoying it so far.
Mm.
Yeah, I've only started it bigger than Jan, but then I'm enjoying it. So I'll see how it goes. Right then, back to the beginning. Take us sort of back to your childhood where it all began.
Yeah, so grew up in quite a nice town in Kenilworth.
Okay.
Not too far from here. Really, good upbringing.
Yeah.
Holidays every year. Lovely house. Got an older sister, 3 years older than me. My mum and my dad was still together.
Yeah, how old are you, mate?
28.
28, okay.
So my sister's now 30. I think she's 30, going on 31.
Yeah.
Parents both married. So yeah, I had a really, really good upbringing. Went to Catholic school. From Catholic background, Irish family.
Yeah.
And yeah, just school absolutely fine through primary school.
Yeah.
Loads of friends, played a lot of football, was always in sports teams. And then when I was 9 years old, we actually had a cousin who went missing.
Yeah.
Over
Okay.
Christmas for a month, and I think that was kind of the change period of like the whole family dynamic. It was a struggle at home, for a month, and then he ended up being found dead in a river. So
fucking hell.
After that, kind of growing up was about just being a lad and trying to be the class clown, and I ended up going through secondary school and not actually focusing on the stuff that really mattered at the time. It was more of just like going out with the mates, just playing up in school, trying to fit in essentially. But yeah, upbringing was great. Dad was a bit strict, but looking back on it now, it was more of a case of he was looking out for us.
Yeah.
So I think as well with the situation of our cousin, probably was more of a protective kind of nature as well. So me and my sister best mates, been best mates since we were kids. Man.
Love that.
So she's a really good person to have in the family. She's really she's a top girl. Mum and dad very loving. But yeah, like just used to go out, play football, a bit around town, and then when I was like 15, I started kind of drug dealing a bit.
Yeah.
Me and a friend of mine, we started drug dealing. Ended up getting caught within the first 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think we were out at a house party till stupid o'clock, and then I think from there it was.
What was you dealing?
Just a bit of weed.
Yeah.
Well, I say just a bit of weed. Drugs are drugs at the end of the day.
That's it.
Started dealing a bit of weed, and then got caught quite soon on. We weren't the best.
Not very good at it. Yeah.
No, we ended up getting caught quite quick. And then from there it was like I was playing Saturday football, so we were playing all over the country like Bath and Weston-super-Mare and stuff. So every Friday night I was always in home by 11 o'clock at night. Weren't drinking and stuff, and then when I got to maybe 16. And the football turned into like youth level.
Yeah.
My dad was my manager, so it was a case of like always having him at home.
Yeah.
I was kind of under the thumb a bit in that sense. And when I lost like all the football stuff, and I thought this isn't going anywhere anymore. The drink kicked in, and I was able to kind of go away with my mates and that. Then.
Yeah.
And then that's when the partying really started, and that was probably about 16, 17 when I first started to go to college and was like using fake IDs then and going out partying and that. We're always going to house parties and like nightclubbing, and then one night at the weekend turned into free through the week. Student nights. I had electrical apprenticeship at the time, so I always had a bit of money in my back pocket, but because I was drinking so much through the week and partying, I actually didn't have any money in my back pocket, so I was ended up borrowing it, and then like,
in one hand out the other kind of thing.
That's pretty much how it was. I had no way to budget. I didn't know about budgeting or anything like that. Then 19, Probably about 17 is when I first took my first pill.
Okay.
I remember it was at Rainbow Nightclub in Digbluff. Took a pill before the rave, and I think that was where the drugs really started to take off.
Yeah.
And then the dealing of pills and stuff on the weekends at the nightclubs and at the day raves and stuff was something that we used to do. We'd buy 10 just to sell them to fund our night.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Then because you've got it on you, your drugs are essentially free.
Yeah.
And then one night would turn into 2 days, and 2 days would turn into 3 days, and then it was just a bender, and then it was sleep for a day, maybe go to work if I could to earn a bit of money to then fund my weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
So essentially, even with the second time around drug dealing, I was still a really bad drug dealer. I was taking the drugs I was meant to be selling.
Yeah, you're kind of using your profit. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was just abusing the profit, and I was not paying back dealers that I was taking drugs off, and then I was taking it, saying I was going to sell it, maybe selling one bag of it, and then I was then taking the rest. And I think that's kind of when, like the sneakiness started to kind of come out in me quite a bit. Was, having to make up excuse after excuse, getting around that, then not talking to the dealers I owed money to and stuff. And, we had a big group of friends, so we were always quite good at getting ourselves out of situations.
Yeah, yeah.
But essentially, half the time when something went wrong, it was generally me who caused that issue.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and then drug dealing was always a big thing for me up until pretty much I got clean, really.
Yeah.
I always had a means of trying to deal drugs, or trying to fund my habit. It was never a case of like it being a business model. It was always a case of like trying to survive by taking drugs,
Yeah, yeah. So when you sort of was talking about things like sort of living for the weekend and sort of kind of like going to work all week and then partying all weekend, or going on a bender and having a bit of a sesh, or what we'd call it back in the day. To me, that kind of sounds normal, because that's how we was. We'd sort of work all week we worked from when I was like 15, 16 onwards, and then it was all just to pay for like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah.
But then, so to us, that was normal, and we kind of just like what we'd done. But then where did it become sort of just being a bit of a young party boy to then being an addict, shall we say?
So I'd be the one, because I used to get drugs cheap off the dark web. It would be me who would order it in.
Yeah, yeah.
Have it there waiting for us to go on the raves. So I'd have it ordered, and then instead of holding on to the drugs to the next day, I'd then start doing it at home.
Oh, okay.
So, or like I'd be out with the pals, we'd get back to someone's house, they'd go to sleep, I'd be the last one up, or I'd still be going, and then they'd wake up and I'd still be on it, and we'd carry on, So it became a problem, and then I ended up robbing one of my best mates, who was a drug dealer at the time, purely because I was on drugs, and I thought, how am I going to get more drugs?
Yeah.
So I ended up jumping through his back window and actually robbing him, and that's when I lost all my friend group, and I was quite isolated then.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to leave the house. I was scared. I was anxious, nervous all the time, and to kind of get myself out of that feeling, cocaine was there for me.
Yeah.
I was sat in my bedroom just doing cocaine for days on end.
Yeah.
I was living on my own. I'd not long broke up with my ex-girlfriend, and it was a case of being like really lonely and kind of essentially having drugs as my only friend at that time.
Yeah.
I can fully understand as to why my friends left me, because I was a problem and I was untrustworthy. And fortunately recently I've rekindled a couple of them relationships,
nice.
Due to being clean, but essentially it was then where it started. I was using drugs just on my own, I was telling my parents I needed money for council tax and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
They'd send me the money with a blink of the eye.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't know what was going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, it was just, ticking it off dealers and not paying back, and then people turning up to my house, and that kind of, the anxiety was through the roof at that point. So I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to go to work. I was just kind of fueling my drug addiction from either robbing things, begging for money off my family, or going to work 1 or 2 days a week just to fund the weekend. That's when it got quite serious.
Yeah, because that's a bit of a red flag, isn't it? Sometimes when you kind of, again, Again, I was a bit of a party boy in my day, and then I sort of used to love all that. But then, whereas for me, it was kind of like I could take it or leave it and sort of turn it on and off. So whereas we would go out for drinks and do whatever else we'd do. But then it was a case of, well, that's for the weekend or the odd time during the week. But it was always a case of I still got to get up and go to work and go to college and things like that. But then when you know, sort of, let's say I was at home on my own or sort of with my mum at the time, I might have a spliff or something. But then when you're sort of taking maybe, at least how I seen it, or some lads that we grew up with, when you're sort of at home, sort of having a sniffer and doing things like that, for me, that's when it becomes a bit of a potential problem, isn't it? So whereas it's not a social drug anymore, you're doing it because there's more of a need.
So for me as well, like it was a case of like I'd do the cocaine. When I was coming down off that, I'd end up taking diazepam or Xanax, or like sleepers to get me to sleep. And then because I felt rank in the morning, I'd have another diazepam to keep me like all right for the rest of the day.
That's just going to get you back to sort of normal.
Just to level, and then by the time that's worn off, it's like, well, it's the evening again now, you know, it's cocaine time. And then like I did used to swap cocaine for weed. So I think I'm doing all right because I'm only smoking weed at the moment.
Yeah. You're just substituting, aren't you?
Oh, it was just a substitution.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I never knew I had a problem. Like I just thought, oh, I'll take drugs. That's what I do.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, like some of the lads, when I robbed my friend, a couple of the lads had said, like, it's not Lewis, that's the drugs.
Yeah.
Even
it's
then,
really forgiving friends, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of them really loyal to me in that sense, but then I also think that a few of them didn't even understand, because now that I am clean, it's like a case of, we can kind of see it now. You're a completely different person. Yeah. You know, so in that sense, it kind of gives me a bit of closure knowing that I'm not that person.
Yeah,
And the drugs did essentially help me to be that person, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what was going on. I just didn't care either.
Yeah.
You know, people asked me about it, and I just said, I'd have walked over you on the floor just to go and pick that cocaine up off the side, man. Or I'd have been scheming somehow to get in your wallet to try and get some more drugs, you know. Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? Because that's sort of like people do sort of say, like drug users or people that are addicted to certain things. They've just got a goal, and it's whatever's in the way. Yeah, like you say, you're gonna just run over it just to get to what you need to get to, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
So is that what you're saying? Then was cocaine sort of the main problem, or was it amongst of
cocaine and prescription drugs were 100%?
Yeah, okay.
Problem. Prescription drugs because they were easy to take.
Yeah.
I could take one, you would never know.
Yeah.
Unless I took numerous. Cocaine was just the big problem, man. It was like I've substituted cocaine for weed because it was more accepted.
Yeah, that's true.
But if I couldn't get hold of weed, I'd be buying cocaine.
Yeah,
if I couldn't buy cocaine, I'd be buying sleepers. You know, ketamine, MDMA, I took quite regularly as a kid.
Yeah.
They were never like something I'd always go, I need to ring a dealer for some MDMA.
Yeah.
It was always
if it's there, I'll have a bash.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If it was the last thing there, I'd be taking it. For me, it was crack and heroin. I never wanted to do. My dad always told me as a kid, never take crack and heroin.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of took that too literally. Like,
yeah.
As long as I'm not doing them, I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm all right then. Yeah. But you're right though, because again, we was drug takers and whatnot. But it was like crack and heroin was known as dirty drugs.
For sure.
Whereas sniffing, smoking weed and things like that, it was all like, it's a spliff or...
Cocaine was a sexy drug, man.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got a bit of cocaine.
Yeah, that's it.
If you went, you've got a bit of crack on you.
You're like, oh, mate, you got to go. See you later.
You've gone a bit too far.
You're a crackhead or a baghead or a fucking smackhead.
So, cocaine for me was just the big one. But like weed as well, I never liked weed to start with. I'd just fall asleep and I'd get well hungry. And I'd be asleep in some of my pals' cars sometimes. They'd go back into the house and I'd be sleeping there for like 2-3 hours.
Oh, well, yeah.
And I didn't really like that, man. I felt like I was missing out. With cocaine, I'd stay up and and I'd be not missing out anything.
No, because you're everyone's best mate,
yeah, for sure. And I always had cocaine on me, like whether I paid for it or not. Like, I always had it on me. So even off like most of my best pals, like I owed them hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and I had no means of getting it back to them. I didn't know, but because they're my mate, I'm thinking, well, they're my mates, so I can. Yeah. So yeah, it was cocaine for me was just where it all really went downhill, really.
And then how long was that like a problem for?
So I think, to be fair, from when I was 17 and I first started drinking, it was like a bottle of wine before I even gone out. You know, and I'm thinking, oh, that's pre-drinks, but people would have a couple of beers. I'd have a bottle of wine or some vodka or something like that.
Yeah.
And then every time I went out, I was drinking until I was blackout drunk.
Okay.
So it was never a case of, I feel great.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop drinking now. It was always like, oh, I need another drink, I need another drink.
Yeah,
so I think drink was probably my first problem. But I wouldn't have known that because I thought, like you said, it was normal.
Yeah,
It was normal for all of our friends to go out or meet up on a Tuesday night, Thursday night.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was an issue. And then, so as soon as I found cocaine, then it was like, I don't want to spend the money on the cocaine that I could use for cocaine on alcohol.
Yeah.
When I can just do cocaine.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of dry sniffing in my addiction.
Okay.
Very rarely I'd be drinking and sniffing. It was mostly sniffing.
Okay. Yeah. Because it's quite common, isn't it? Lads more so, at least, go out, have a couple of beers, and then you sort of think, as soon as someone whispers a bit of sniff or a bit of booster or whatever, you know, you call it, depends on where you're from. That's it, then it's in your head, isn't it? And you're like, and you can't let it go, then it's like, we need to get some.
You meet down the boozer, as soon as you've had your first drink, you look kind of side-eyeing each
other.
Knowing where it's going, but you don't want to be the first person to say it, because otherwise you're the druggie.
Yeah.
But, you know, there were certain lads who I had in my friendship group that I knew if I met them, we were going to get cocaine.
Yeah.
Because I knew they were in the exact same boat as me.
Okay.
So I think, well, they were more up for doing that than other lads, so I'd kind of gravitate towards them more than would the lads who I think.
The lads are sweet, they want to get on it, don't they? So I'm going to go that way.
Or like we'd be planning it before we'd even got back from work or something like drink tonight, knowing full well where it was.
Where it goes, So true. Okay, so some of the lads that he was knocking about with back then, they was kind of addicts as well, or just got regular users? Because I think there's a difference, isn't there?
I think my best mate, he's the type of lad who he'd buy a pack of fags on a night out for some stupid reason, like just to maybe have them with the lads. He'd have maybe 2 or 3. The next day he'd throw them out the bin. I don't want to touch that. I've got a few lads like that. But then there was some lads who, to start with, my using, were there with me every step of the way. And then the older they've got, the more it's petered out, you know. And I was hoping maybe that would be me, but I think the more I'd done, just the more worse it got. It just got worse and worse. Don't get me wrong, I wish I could have been a successful user, you know, who could go 2-3 months without ordering and just drink one night. But it was, as soon as I'd had a drink, that was it, man. Over a lot of the time, it was I'd pick up the cocaine before getting the drink, having my first line before the drink, and then going and sitting in my bedroom.
Because that was like the priority.
Before it was just get wired, you know. So I'd end up actually not going out. Or going out, I was really anxious until I'd had like 5 pints or something, then I'd be alright. So, but yeah, like some of the lads I think now might have a problem. But you know what, they're all doing really well. And I've spoken to a couple of them about getting clean and that. I've got another friend who's, you know, going to meetings and stuff.
Nice.
But I'm just glad that they can kind of see that themselves, you know.
It's like the first step, isn't it, sort of? Because if you said to me, oh, Dad, you got a problem with drinking or with cocaine or whatever drug it is, like, if I can't see it, there's nothing you can really say or do, is there?
For sure. I remember at like 19 years old, one of my mates had turned around to me when I was at his and saying, oh, I was looking at getting you sectioned.
Really?
And I laughed it off. I thought it was a complete joke. Don't be stupid. And he kind of laughed it off after as well. And then I've seen him recently and I said to him, I remember when you said that, he was like, I was being deadly serious. You know? And I was like, oh man, I didn't have a clue, man.
Madness, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't have an absolute scoop or what was going on.
No way. So where do you think then, would you say, or what was the difference between sort of what kind of made you an addict to sort of just a sort of a bit of a young lad who was a bit of a wreckhead?
I think it was probably when I started thieving off people. Anyone, or like being really dishonest around things, you know, having to hide it. Even like hiding it from my friends who were essentially, I thought were in the same boat as me. But then I think as well when I was going home and just doing it on my own, was when it really kind of dawned on me, like, you know, I'm an addict, but I didn't even then I didn't think about it like that. I think it was the time I realised that I've got a drug problem was when we'd had our daughter, and the only day I hadn't used in the past like 12 years was when she was born. So it was a case of, oh, well, I've stopped for one day. You know, I've done a dry January once as well. 17 days was the longest I got. And I thought, oh, well, people are going out, so I might as well, you know.
Yeah.
And then my wife kicked me out. She wasn't my wife at the time, but she kicked me out, and she said, you need to sort yourself out. Like,
how old are you at this time?
This was about a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
About a year and a half ago, last August. Last August, and I'd gone to Butlins 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
And I remember buying like a kilo of cocaine and like 100 pills, loads of MDMA, loads of ketamine, taking it. And I said to her, I was like, look, I ain't got a job at the moment. I need to get rid of this, you know. I remember going, telling her, if I've got this money for you. So I sent back essentially what I paid for the drugs.
Yeah.
And then I'd taken the rest.
Yeah.
And all the lads I'd gone with were looking at me like, you've got a nosebleed and you're still trying to put it up like your nose, and you haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it kind of, that's when the switch kind of clicked. I got back from there and she said, something's changed in you.
Yeah.
You know, and then when she said, get yourself clean, when my daughter was like 5 months old, we'd had an argument and I went on a 3-day bender. Bearing in mind, like, I hadn't done that in 6 or 7 months because I knew, like, I've got a baby now.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was going to change me. I thought that was going to change me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a daughter and I'm not going to take drugs again. But as soon as we got back from the daughter being born, I was smoking a spliff on the balcony, you know. And I was just like, well, that's a celebration. You know, we've had a baby, like, I can celebrate with a joint or whatever. And then, you know, it got to the point where I was putting drugs before my partner and my child, you know. I was scheming, telling her I was going on set dogs out and picking up drugs, and any situation I could use to get out of essentially like being a parent and being a father and being a proper like husband. Yeah. I'd do anything to just take drugs. Just you're in my way of my drug using.
And you're gonna squirm out of it somehow.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep you sweet.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try and do my thing in the background as well.
Yeah. That's it. Sometimes it's like as well. People sort of judge and sort of look down on drug users, but sometimes you not to give sort of addiction or drugs credit or sort of praise, but there's kind of like I bet there's probably ways where you was quite creative and sort of use a lot of imagination to sort of
it was like
get your way,
turning kettles on to mask the noise of doing stuff.
Yeah.
Saying I've got a bad stomach, going in the bath for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
You spent 5 hours in the bath?
I'd sit in the bath for hours on end.
Yeah, really? Oh,
just so I was on my own.
Yeah.
Just so I wasn't disturbed and I was on my own.
Oh, I see, yeah. Okay.
You know, just so I could use on my own. You know, because I was too anxious to look you in the eye.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm so ashamed of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I can't get out of this hole that I'm in. Like, I don't want to do it, but I can't stop myself from doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I think people don't realise about addiction and stuff is you don't want to rob your parents, you don't want to rob your friends, like, but you don't know what to do. Like, you try every scheming little way, sly little way you can do to get around the feelings that you're going through.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to deal with them feelings apart from your drugs. Like, they stop the noise for an hour.
Yeah.
And even now, like sometimes to my wife, what I say to her is, I just want it to stop for an hour. I just want an hour where my head isn't talking to me about this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And I just want an hour.
Yeah.
You know, but today I can't do that because everything in my life will go to pan.
Yeah, that's it. So, because I've had a few addicts come on, addicts or former addicts, or depends on what you believe or say, I suppose, or suppose your experience. But I've always asked all of them, and everyone's kind of said different things. So, was you, let's say for you, Lewis, was you born an addict, or did you kind of like become an addict through, I don't know, experiences or trauma or just personality traits?
Oh, it's hard like to really say that. I think some people will say you're born an addict.
Yeah.
I think my addict behaviours were there from very young.
Yeah.
Of being sneaky. You know, I remember the first time I ever stole something, it was a pack of chewing gum. And my mum caught me and she walked me back into the chemist I'd stolen them from. After making me eat all of them. They were the black Wrigley's extras, so they were like the extra strong ones.
Yeah.
I remember her making me eat the whole packet and then walking back in the chemist and apologising and stuff. Yeah. And then I think from then it was like a God, if I get caught, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be embarrassed like this.
Yeah.
So now I've got to get even sneakier so I don't get
Oh,
caught.
okay, yeah.
And I think as well, like growing up around some of my mates were minted as kids. Like,
yeah.
You know, you'd go to their house and you'd hear at Christmas like, oh, I've got this, and this, and I'm looking at them thinking, I want that. Like,
Yeah.
I want everything you've got. You know?
Yeah.
You've got new trainers like all the time, or you've got a brand new iPhone for your birthday and stuff. And don't get me wrong, like I had everything I asked for.
Yeah. But sometimes you always want what you ain't got, isn't it?
For sure. But I had everything. If I needed a new pair of football boots, I'd have a new pair of football boots.
Yeah.
If I wanted a holiday, if family was going on holiday, we were going on holiday. You know, we always went abroad and everything, and I just wanted more and more and more. So in a sense of that, I think that's the addict behaviour.
Yeah, of course.
Because just one isn't enough, essentially. And I think they all kind of started to interlink into becoming an addict. You know, whether I was an addict from day one, I don't know. But even when it came to, even now, like if I go for a run, I want to run more and I want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do just like a little run and then leave it 3 weeks. I want to go tonight and then I want to go tomorrow. And tomorrow and, you know, and them behaviours kind of were from early, man. Like I was stealing at school. You know, I wanted to be the person that people came to for stuff.
Yeah. The sort of bit of a fixer and sort of they kind of put together person.
For sure, and I think I got great like love out of having people say, "Oh, Lewis has got these drugs.
He's the man.
He can get these drugs."
Yeah.
And or like, "Oh, we want to be around Lewis," you know. Whether it was for my drugs or not, I didn't really care.
It's fucking the time and attention, isn't it?
You know, and I think from a kid, like when you're not getting as much time, people coming to you and stuff, like you kind of grow into that behaviour, don't you? Like, if this is pleasing people, I'm going to do it more to have myself feel better about myself. You know, that self-worth and validation really was a big thing. So yeah, that's definitely, I think, where my addict behaviour kind of came from.
Because it was quite interesting when you said, to be fair, when you sort of said you nicked the chewing gums from the chemist, and then your mum took you back, and sort of said, right, he's took these, he's naughty kind of thing, naughty boy. And then you could, rather than thinking, oh shit, I've been caught and I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed and I've disappointed my mum, I need to not do that again because it's bad. You kind of sort of thought, I'm embarrassed, I've got caught, I need to get better.
Yeah.
I need to do different things and different channels and whatnot.
It was just a case of like, how do I do this again without getting caught, you know? I enjoyed stealing it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed sneakily having a chewing gum on the slide.
You
know, and not having to give it to anyone else. How do I get better at not getting caught next time?
Yeah.
And, like phones as well. Like I used to steal phones when we was at school and stuff. Like we'd go around. I remember again, I got caught stealing like 5 or 6 phones from a house party, and I was at my grand's at the time because I'd been kicked out for my behaviour. This was through my GCSE times. And, I remember my granny looking in my bottom drawer of her house, and there was 5 phones in there, and they asked me like, where have you got these phones from? Oh, I'm fixing them for someone.
Yeah, and instant blag.
I couldn't fix a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, don't get me wrong, I was quite hands-on, and if someone wanted me to try and figure out how to do something, I would. But I remember my dad then finally getting it out of me, and took me round to the girl's house again. She was like, they're all from here, you know. These are our family like phones and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, another friend of mine, I ended up stealing his mum's cigarettes. She came back off holiday, he had a 200-pack sleeve.
Yeah.
I didn't just take the one packet, I took the whole sleeve. You know? And I remember my dad caught me out for that as well, and I had to go back round there. But that didn't stop me from doing these things, you know. And you know, I weren't even using drugs at that time.
Okay.
I was just being sneaky.
Yeah.
And this is the behaviours that I was kind of showing.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, like you said, you sort of just kind of, maybe you wasn't an addict, or you didn't think you was an addict, but then you saw all this sort of experience and skill that you sort of kind of building to sort of then for the big time, which was then to get onto the drugs, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think, and then that's when obviously the swerving dealers and stuff kind of came quite easily. It was like, I'll tell him what he wants to hear,
That's it.
Oh, I'm getting paid on this day, I'll sort it out then. Oh, I ain't been paid yet, give me another day, you know. And then robbing Peter to pay Paul, essentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it kind of all stemmed into the sneakiness of, you know, and I don't know whether it was because I thought my dad was quite strict as well. you know, even detentions and stuff, I'd have to go home and get the letter before it made it through to my dad's hands. I'd go do the detention and say, oh, well, I don't have school club on or something like that. My dad wasn't stupid. My dad ain't stupid. You know, it's like you can't blag a blagger.
Yeah.
You know, he was growing up, he had to be quite suave with his the way he was as well, being from an Irish background. And, you know, his brother was a bit of a nightmare growing up as well. You know, big family. They were always trying to do things without it, kind of getting back to the family. But my dad was so switched on. So switched on. Like, but then I had my best mate. It was like he could go home. He could do something wrong. He'd go home. He'd tell his parents, "This is what I've done. I shouldn't have done it." And they'd be like, "Right, mate, don't do it again." He would never do it again. I'd go home and I would keep everything as close to my chest as possible. Because I didn't want to get caught.
That's it.
I didn't want to get caught.
Yeah, that's it. Because we kind of say, don't we? Kind of we live and learn. So whereas when you get in court, you was literally sort of thinking, right, and I've kind of done this. I'm going to do it a different way next time.
For sure.
Yeah. How long would you say you was an addict for?
I'd say about 12 years.
About 12 years.
12 years. From the outside in, you wouldn't have noticed it. You
wouldn't
have seen it. You know, there was 4 years of it being kind of on my own using. Like even for instance, just taking mushrooms in my bedroom because I had mushrooms on me. First ever time I took them, and I remember my sister. I told my sister, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I spoke to her recently about the whole situation. She was like, "We knew for years, man, what you were up to." But it was like, since 17, 18, I think drugs every weekend. I was living for the weekend just to take drugs. You know, 3-4 times a week. I was always out nightclubbing, partying, and then I think when my parents split up at 18, I was living under my mum's roof then, and it was a case of like I could smoke weed, I could go out, walk the dog, smoke weed, spray myself, and just walk straight up into my room. When I was living with my dad, it was a case of like
he was a bit more clued up.
He'd know. He'd know instantly. Like when I lived with my dad again through COVID, I ended up getting kicked out. I was about 24 at this time. You know, I walked back in, and he just looked at me and went, "What have you been up to, man?" And my instant thing is, "Oh, it's my hay fever." He's like, "You're acting like an idiot. Like, go on, get your stuff. I can't be dealing with this. Can't be bringing drugs into this household." Now I understand it. Then I'm
that's
like,
it.
"Why are you being so like strict with me?" You know?
Get off my back and all that.
For sure. But then I was using up in my bedroom. Like, you know, it was through the whole of COVID. I was using a lot. I could never hold down a job. I'd hold down the job just long enough so it made it sound like, "Oh, well, I've lost my job because they don't need me anymore."
Got laid off and run out of work and all that.
But really, it was me getting to the final times of, "Oh, Lewis, we can't keep you on because you've missed that many days' work." You know? So, I think, it was about 12 years, man, just using and just hiding it from everybody. You know, hiding it from everyone. There was one of my mates, the one who I robbed too. He'd know if I'd been on it. You know, I'd turn up to football in the morning. He's like, "Lewis, you been on it?" And I'm like, no, I'm not. You know, he's like, "Don't be silly, mate." And then they'd ask me if I wanted to go for food after, and I'd have like a bite, and I'd be like, or I'd be doing cocaine in the toilet before going to play football and saying, "Oh, I don't feel well, I've got to come off." But I was off my face on drugs, you know. Or I was driving to a football match, often on Xanax and stuff, and I remember playing in goal. And the ball rolling through my legs, and everyone, "What's going on here?" But I was on drugs, man.
So just all over the place.
I was all over the place, man. And I didn't want to tell anyone. I was ashamed, and then because I didn't tell anyone, no one knew I had this issue. You know, and I didn't know I had this issue. I just thought I liked drugs. But I think once I came clean about it all and just said, like, I'm in trouble here. No one batted an eyelid, and I was like, "Well, let's sort this problem out." You know? So I think
that's a good sign of probably having good people around you.
For sure, I've got the best people around me. Really nice. Really got a good family around me. I've got really a lot of people who cheer me on every day. Even my friends, really good set of friends around me as well.
Because even when you said earlier as well, like when you said your mate sort of said, "Lewis, we know that isn't you stealing from us; it's the drugs." Where a lot of lads will sort of say, "You fucking robbed my phone or whatever it is. You're done, mate. See you later."
Half of my friends did do that. You know, I think because I stole a substantial amount of money from one of my friends as well. They were like, "How could you do that?" And me being me, I went into a pity party. I was anxious to talk to any of them because I'm not owning.
Yeah.
I'm not owning up to nothing.
Yeah,
at this point because I'm not in the wrong. Yeah, but he said this about me, so I'm using that as an excuse or.
Yeah. Again, trying to sort of wiggle your way out.
Yeah, just anything to try and make it seem like I'm not a bad person. But one of them, who's my best mate, has stuck with me through absolutely everything. He instantly went, well, I'm not leaving him, man. We're going to drag him through this,
Yeah.
And he was my best man at my wedding not long ago. And
nice.
It was to hear him say, like, we've seen how far you've come, and that is just, that's what I do this stuff for now.
Yeah.
I've got no reason to use anymore.
Yeah, love that. All right, so you talk about marriage and whatnot. So what was the point now where you kind of sort of said, what am I doing? I need to stop. What was the sort of, did something happen, or was it like a kind of build up of things, or just kind of like things crashed together?
Yeah, I think...
I made you sort of think, right, fuck this, I've had enough.
Yeah, so my wife, honestly amazing.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, like, she's the one, man. Like,
nice.
First 3 years of our relationship, like, we were never argued. As long as I had my weed, like, I was all right.
Yeah.
And it got to 6 months with my little one. Obviously, she'd kick me out because she, I think we'd had an argument. She kicked me out, and I came back the next day. But I'd been on it. She was like, right, go sleep in the front room. I don't want, you to be in this room.
Yeah.
A child, if you're in that position.
Yeah. I get that.
And I was like, nah, let me get my pajamas at least or something. Just making every excuse to try and
Yeah.
worm myself back in that room, And then she was like, no, I'm not having this. Called the police. They took me to my grand's, and I went and stayed at my mum's. And no, actually, I got kicked out. She'd rang my mum up. My granny dropped me at a friend of mine's house. Again, another lad who used, and my missus was like...
That's literally sort of out the pan into the fire, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I was like, well, I'm quite comfortable living with him because I did my thing, and she's kicked me out, so I've got no excuse to be out the house.
Yeah.
But she blocked all my cards off my phone. She wouldn't pick a phone up. My mum wouldn't pick the phone up. My dad wouldn't pick the phone up. They all cut off all communication. Essentially, done an intervention on me, and it was really weird because me and my wife used to watch a program called Intervention.
Yeah.
It was about drug addicts and their family was coming, and we'd be like, oh my god, imagine that! Like, look at them. But my life was getting to that stage.
Yeah.
My wife didn't know it because she didn't know how bad it was, and I got kicked out, and then for 3 days, like, I had no contact with any of my family. I found myself in a hotel in Kenilworth called the Peacock, which is like essentially a halfway house.
Yeah.
It was just the cheapest place for me to stay that night, and I got 2 days clean because I ended up being kicked out on the Monday morning, getting myself to a meeting on the Monday night, just like to make sure everyone knows, like, well, I'm going to try and sort myself out,
Yeah.
Because I remember my wife on the phone to the police was like, he's an addict, and I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. And I was like, well, if you're going to say I'm an addict, I'm going to try and sort myself out.
Yeah. Okay, so you kind of didn't like the sort of label of being an addict.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So if that's what you think I am, I'm gonna change your perception of me. And I went to a meeting. I walked an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back, just to kind of, whether it was actually because I wanted to sort myself out, I don't know. But I think it was probably a case of like trying to get the missus to talk to me.
Yeah.
And but then there was a bloke talking there, and he spoke about what his life was like on cocaine, and I was just sat there like, this is my life, man. This is what's going on for me right now.
Yeah.
And I got home, and then I'd done 3 days clean. I ended up getting a referral to a rehab. But yeah, big up the Dynamo Project. I'd done 2 months in there. They were great. They were over in Coventry.
I think I know someone who's done that, or I think they've done it, or they was going to do it. I'm not too sure what actually happened. I think it was fairly recent-ish, not too far from here.
Yeah, it's in Coventry, man. I spent 2 months.
Yes, Coventry was it.
So what happened was they have a bit of a waiting list, and I made sure to keep going to the meetings. I got myself 24 days clean in the meetings, and then I got a text while I was at a meeting. By this time, my missus had let me back in the house there.
Yeah.
I was walking back from a meeting. I got a text saying 300. I was like, yeah, baby.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what had happened. I think I'd done a quick job and I'd had some money in my back pocket. I said to someone in the meeting, I've got cash on me, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I ended up picking up, done another 2 days, and then on the third day, I ended up going to Stratford to pick up more drugs at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'd got my dealer to text me saying, "Oh, I've had a problem with my fuse board. Can you come and sort it out?" I've then screenshotted that, forwarded it to the missus.
Yeah,
she had woken up. That was
she
the first thing
that.
she had seen. She's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was still at this person's house, you know. She was like, "Don't talk to me, book me an Uber to my mum's." I was still on it at this point. I'd had some diazepams annexed as well. In the house, my mum's house, I was sat there asleep, and my wife came in to drop my bags around, and she's found me with drugs on me, and she's like, "Well, you've told me that you haven't been doing them."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Kind of caught you in the act.
She caught, yeah, first time she'd ever caught me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
With cocaine. And
how was that for you then when she sort of, when you're saying to her, "No, love," or "No, baby," what we call each other, "I'm not doing it, I'm behaving," and then she walks through the door and you got whatever you got.
That was instant. Like, our trust had been gone. That's our trust gone. You know, that's when she finally could say, "This is why I don't trust you."
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, then my mum putting me up and saying, "You've got to sort yourself out, man. You've got to really sort yourself out." And I was sat there for two days just in like a bit of a pity party. And on that third day, I got myself to a meeting, and like, I was in such a ball of depression until then. I got in that meeting. After the meeting, I was like, "Bro, I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back, and I'm going to hit this hard." And I've been clean ever since then. So I ended up doing another 2 months. Went into rehab.
Yeah.
Didn't really want to. My wife didn't want me to because she'd had Lewis for 2 months. She'd had Lewis, man, and I remember going in there, hating every second of it. Loving the program, you know. They helped me a lot. You know, they helped me to realise that I actually have got a drug addiction. I've got a problem. What it is. What it's doing to me. And I think the bit that helped the most was being sat in a room on my own, thinking this is going to be me for the next 10, 15 years if I don't sort myself out.
Yeah.
So I came out of rehab. I remember on the last day, it was the 27th of December last year, and I was in 2024. And I said to him, "No, I'm going to leave. I can't do this anymore." You know, my wife's just got a 6-month-old daughter. She's texting me at 5 in the morning, like, "This is torture.
Yeah.
You know, I need help, this, that, and the other." And every time she'd come and see me, I think she dreaded coming to see me because she knew that she was going to have to leave me at this rehab.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the last days we'd seen each other and we'd had not like an argument, but like a really emotional time in the car because it was like, "Lewis, man, like, I hate this."
Yeah.
And I think on the last day they said to me, we went to see the new house that they had. They just got a new house, and one of the lads said to me, "Go on, Lewis, go pick your room out now because you'll be back here soon."
Yeah.
And I remember like that hitting me in the chest, and I was like, "I'll fucking show you, man."
Yeah,
like, I thought, "I'm going to show you." And 2 months, 4 months turned into 5 months, 5 months turned into 6, and then every month something better was happening in my life.
Yeah.
So I didn't go back to work for maybe a month, and then I started a house renovation, and I was enjoying it. I'd never enjoyed work before.
Yeah.
You know, like the last 12 years, I couldn't wait to get out of that work to go and use drugs, or I was using drugs on site.
Yeah.
And then I'd done that, and then a bloke messaged me saying, "Look, I want you to come and play football for us," you know, and I'd stopped making time for football because football got in the way of me taking drugs. And I started enjoying football again, and then I started running, and I'd done a half marathon, and then when I'd done my half marathon, we went to Ben Nevis, and it was like every month my life just got progressively better. My relationship with my wife got so much better. My relationship with my mum and my dad, the relationship with my dad has been amazing. Compared to what it was, it's, you know, I can ring him up now and he ain't got to worry that I'm going to say, "Dad, can I borrow some money?" Like, my mum texts me all the time now to say, like, "I'm just so glad I ain't got to worry about you," you know. When she last lost her job, I was trying to help her to find new stuff, and she was like, "This is just a different Lewis to what I'm used to."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, that's what a son should do, isn't it?" You know.
Yeah.
You know, she'd spent 25 years of worrying and looking after me, and the least I can do is this, kind of brushing it off. But I'm like, I ain't done this since I was an adult.
Yeah. Well, you imagine now, sort of, you're a dad, I'm a dad. You imagine sort of your kids going out, or my girls going out and doing certain things, and then all you're doing is worrying. Like, I think it'd drive me mad.
For sure.
It would drive you mad, didn't it?
Like, my dad would always text, like, before going out, he'd always say to me, if you're in trouble and you need lift home, whatever time it is, I'll come and pick you up.
Yeah.
And a few times it had happened, and he'd always come pick me up. He'd never have a go at me in the car.
Yeah.
He'd always just
want to make sure you're safe.
For sure.
Yeah. I've got you here now, you're good.
The next day he'd ask me what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'd tell him, because in that sense, it's like, I feel comfortable because this is what you've allowed me to do. You've said, if this is the situation, just talk to me about it.
Yeah. And that's smart parenting, isn't it? Because I think if you got in the car and say, what the fucking hell have you been doing?
For sure.
You little this and that, or kind of give you a bollock and you're like, right, next time I'm not calling him.
Yeah, I'm not doing that this time, you know.
Next time I'll stay in that situation.
I think that stems back to the cousin situation.
Yeah.
Missing and stuff. I think, for me as well, it's like, I always thought I'd be like, I always knew I'd be a protective father, but I didn't know it'd be to this extent. Like, You know, like, I think once you have kids, you kind of think, I can't kill myself because I have to look after this child.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, I can't carry on doing what I'm doing because I have to look after them. You know, like, my dad's always taught. My dad is a great bloke, and he's taught me some very, very valuable lessons.
Yeah, nice.
You know,
as a dad should.
For sure.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
And at the time when he was talking to me about it, I was just like, oh fuck off, like, stop! I don't want to hear it. I'm just a young lad, like. But throughout the years, like, everything he said is going to happen has happened, and I'm like, oh man, why didn't I just listen to him?
Yeah.
Why didn't I listen to him? And you know what? My mum's great as well. She was the person who would put her arm around me. My dad would, you know, be the person who would keep me in like shape.
In check,
you know? But again, I remember as well once when they did kick me out, him saying to me, like, name me a more loyal person to you than me.
Yeah.
Or he said, who is the most loyal person you've ever met in your life? And I had no other person to say because it was my dad, you know.
Yeah.
And I just don't think at the time, you know, when you're a young kid and stuff, you just want to be the man, don't you?
Yeah, and go with the lads and go out with mates and do this and do that.
You know, I'm the man around here. You know? And you know what, I weren't.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm not, you know.
Yeah. You look back at me and sort of think, that was right, but then sometimes we've got to figure it out for ourselves, haven't we?
For sure. I think you've got to go through the fire sometimes.
Yeah, this is it.
Kind of understand it.
Because I bet your dad, like you said, he's probably looked at it and sort of thought, I know exactly where he's going. I can see the path.
Yeah, and he'd tell me about some of his pals that he went with, and how he was not friends with them anymore, you know. And I just thought, I just pushed a lot of it off, man.
Yeah, sometimes you got to burn your own fingers, ain't you?
For sure. Sometimes you got to go through the pain, ain't you?
Yeah. Because it sounds like for certain things you've said as well, when someone's kind of give you a kick in the dick and sort of said, I'll see you back in this room, picky room, and things like that kind of try to embarrass you or shame you, that kind of sort of motivated you to sort of prove people wrong, if you like.
Yeah. I think from me getting like a month clean, I proved myself wrong that I can stay clean.
Yeah.
And then it was a case of like, right, well, I know I can do it. I'm just going to show all who use that I can do it now.
Yeah.
And I think the first 24 days, I thought I was bulletproof. You know, I've done 24 days clean, you know.
Yeah.
This is the longest I've ever done. You know? And I thought, this is easy. It just all changed over one text message, and it didn't get progressively worse. I was kicked out straight away, and I was back living with my mum. And I had a massive perception about addicts as a kid. I always thought, well, if you're homeless on the streets begging for money, you're an addict. At that point, I was homeless and begging people for money. Yeah. But I had a roof over my head.
Yeah.
It weren't my home, and had I carried on how I was going, I wouldn't have had a home.
Yeah.
So I was them, but I could get a haircut and make it look like I was all right.
Yeah.
You know,
you can still sort of freshen up and look a bit half decent.
To
pass at least. You know, yeah.
But like when I put a bit of weight on since coming into recovery, which is understandable, you know, you're taking drugs a lot of the time and you're not eating and stuff, and people are like say, "Oh, you look so much better." I don't feel like I look any better, but they said the colours come back in your skin. You turn up on time, you do what you need to do. Try and be as honest as I can, you know. Sometimes we fall short on some whatever behaviours, but
no one's perfect though, are there? No one's perfect.
For sure, but it's not scheming, lying. It's
there you go.
Me trying to protect myself sometimes. And it's never like a case of like thieving or stealing or anything like that. It's a case of like, just small little white lies trying to protect myself. And then even then, I still think, had I been honest, it probably would have been a lot easier.
Yeah. But then sometimes I think, for you to, let's sort of say, if for your mum and dad, would they rather you tell a little white lie, rather than sort of say certain things, get triggered, and then go and sort of do whatever it is that you're doing. Do you see what I mean? I think they'd rather have a little lie and then, but then keep you safe and clean.
Yeah, I mean, my parents now don't really have to worry about asking me too much.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't expect me to lie to them because there's not really much that they need to know. You know, I think they're just happy as long as I'm turning up for my family. As long as I'm not doing anything that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Just keep cracking on with what you're doing. You know.
Yeah.
My dad, I've always felt like he's quite a hard person to please. But in the past year, man, he's like told me he's proud of me. He's messaged me like pictures of work I've done and said like, mate, that's a class job and stuff. And while I was using, I was in this like, oh my god, my dad doesn't think I'm, you know, but how could he? You know, I was just using drugs all the time, and I wasn't like progressing. I was just not achieving anything.
Yeah.
You know, and my mum was just constantly worried about me and stuff. So, you know, I was in that sense of, oh, no one really thinks that I'm doing very well, but. Now looking back on it, the stuff that I'm achieving now is like, well, I didn't really have much to flipping sing and dance about. You know?
Yeah. Because earlier when you said as well, like when you got clean and you was kind of getting into sort of jobs and kind of seeing the positives and other stuff, I think it's quite important to sort of note that because when you was using, you kind of get like that tunnel vision, don't you? Whereas doesn't matter what's over here and in front, and doesn't matter, but I'm going to get over there.
You got your blinkers on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, whereas you open your vision. And you can see, oh, do you know what, actually, putting that TV up and doing this and doing certain things.
Small little steps.
Yeah.
Like, small little steps have built bigger things, you know.
Yeah, there you go. Look after the pennies and the pounds look after themselves.
For sure, you know, and as long as I'm supporting my family, you know, my daughter and my wife, and I think that's all that matters, you know. I just try and do what the best I can at the moment, you know.
And that's all you can do, and anybody can do, isn't it? Yeah, just your best.
Just try your best.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Nice. So how long have you been sort of clean and sober now?
So just over 16 months.
16 months, yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah. Keep fighting a good fight, man. Keep doing it. And again, just remember, every time you get like triggered or a sort of feeling or sort of a, I don't know, emotion maybe, what you want to call it, sort of think of the missus, think of the kids.
Do you know what, sometimes, like,
mum and dad.
Sometimes it is a case of just like thinking, I'm going to lose this all. You know, don't get me wrong, I get the thoughts sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what it is I get some scheming thoughts of if I go out and have one drink, no one's ever going to know. I know that one drink ain't going to be one drink. It's going to be more and more. And then the next morning, my wife's going to know instantly if I've used drugs. She's going to instantly know, and I'm going to have to try and hide it, and I don't want to have to do that. I don't have any desire to use anymore, you know. I get the thoughts sometimes, but that's just kind of you know, muscle memory essentially.
Yeah.
But they say it gets easier, you know. So
yeah, I suppose you just get better of sort of dealing with it, don't you? Or you sort of, I don't know, you don't get the sort of the pulls as much.
No, for sure.
But then I heard an alcoholic say before, and I think it was, you know, Matthew Perry. I seen him. He said it as well. One drink is too many. 1,000 is not enough.
Yeah, for sure.
And I thought, fucking now, because then growing up, I grew up with an alcoholic, my old lady, and but it kind of just hit home for me, and I thought, fucking bang on now.
But it's like someone from my football team asked me like, oh, is there a time when you know you're gonna come and do it with us all and stuff?
Yeah.
I just said to him, I was like, look, if you're happy to have me at your house for 3 days, give me £1,500, and stay up with me, I'll be more than happy to do it. Yeah. And he went, actually, that doesn't sound too great. And I said, well, that's where it's going to lead.
There you go, down the dark tunnel.
Yeah, and you're going to have to support me because I need someone there with me while I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, as soon as he heard that, I think he kind of thought, like, oh, actually, he's probably not the best. Fortunately, my football team's dead supportive about it all.
Nice.
They don't try and entice me or anything like that. They know the score. For me at the moment as well, I've got to tell people as soon as, you know, they say, because it's a case of like, if I don't tell you, you'll be the person I'll be hunting out. Thinking, if I stick around with him, he don't know that I've got this issue, I can get away with it, you know. So that's why I do post it on social media and stuff to hold myself accountable.
Good, that's it. Yeah, because you hold yourself accountable, but then also you're helping others.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You're helping others.
I think I didn't realise that till people started to reach out on my TikTok and stuff. You know, a couple of lads that have messaged me out, a couple of them are now in rehab. One of them will take to meetings with me and stuff.
Yeah, so fair play. So you're doing good now as well?
Yeah, I mean, my sister, I done a speech for SSE, Energy Solutions, where my sister works. And she was like, "Will you be embarrassed if I put this out to say that you've done that?" I was like, "Not at all, man. I want to, let people know that there is a way out.
Nice.
Get help." I think from the outside in, sometimes people probably don't really think I do have a drug problem because of how well I hid it. But family members kind of see what's going on, but they probably don't have a clue it's that bad either because I hide it so well, So, but yeah, it is what it is. Really, I got myself in that position, and fortunately, I've been able to drag myself out of it. With the help from a very good supporting family. Some really supportive friends, and some of the friends that I've made in the meetings, that have been there for me. Connection's been a massive thing for me. I don't really hang around with some of the lads that I used to because, again, it's another trigger for me. Some of them probably don't invite me out as much as they used to because they know what they're going to get up to. And I went to my first night out last month to Bongo Bingo, and I had a wicked time. And I got home and Mrs. went, "What, you didn't have anything?" I was like, "I promise you, I didn't have anything. I had a really good time." But at the start, when I first started clean, it was a case of like, "Look, if you want to drug test me, you're more than welcome." Because I can't trust myself, so how are you meant to trust me? Where now it's a case of like, I've built that trust back up with my wife and stuff. And now I think she doesn't worry half as much as she used to, but I know she still does worry,
of course.
So do my parents,
So have you got I say special strategies, but or any techniques or anything that you do when you feel triggered or you kind of get that thought?
Well, first easiest thing is to just call someone, man. Just let that thought out.
Okay.
As soon as I started to tell someone like I'm having really bad using thoughts, sometimes I'd sit next to my wife and I'd be having using thoughts, and I'd be worried that she's going to be like, "Oh my god," But I say to her like, "I'm having using thoughts." She's like, "Oh, well, you don't have to." And as soon as you've let it out, you're like, "Well, I'm not thinking about it anymore." Because it's not over and over and over again. Like it's like before coming into recovery and stuff. I always say to people like I had that devil on my shoulder, but now I've got a bit of an angel. Like it's giving me advice on how to get myself out of it. So for sure, connecting with people, calling people up. I try and stay away from going into places. Now, fortunately, I can go into a pub. And, sometimes I'll have a 0%. Whether that makes me feel a bit more comfortable, I don't know. But I've always quite liked the taste of beer and stuff like that. So, and again, I don't know, man. Like, there's a few different things that you can do. Essentially, for me, my first thought process is like, "Oh, you could use drugs," and then it turns into 3 or 4 reasons why I don't use drugs. I'm going to lose my missus. I'm going to lose my daughter. I'm not going to be at work tomorrow. I'm going to let everybody down. I'm going to have to start again. And then I'll have the thought again, I could use drugs, and then that would trigger them 4 things again. But just picking up the phone, and I think a lot of people worry that they're going to be pestering someone. I know when I first got my sponsor, I thought, he don't want to hear what I've got going on, man. And then he'd message me, I ain't heard from you in a while. What you actually care about what I've got to say. Everyone cares about each other, man. I think that stems to my football team as well. Like a lot of them ask me the questions around it and that, and they actually care what I've got going on. And my family, I'm openly happy to talk about it because I'm more ashamed of being a drug addict and being in them behaviours than I am of being a normal person. Essentially, I'll say a normal person, but trying my hardest to, be a good member of society.
I get that.
So, it's kind of holding yourself accountable, picking up the phone, make sure you've got a good set of people around you.
I think that's key, isn't it? That's key. If you've just got fellow drug users and whatnot around you, there's no one to sort of lean on and sort of say, give us a minute, because I'm just kind of...
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of the people I used with as well, most of them now are kind of not in, coming out of the woodwork and that anymore. When I was using, there was more people that wanted to talk to me. But they weren't my mates, they were people I just used drugs with.
There's a difference as well, isn't there?
Massive difference. The day after they wouldn't ask me if I was alright. They'd maybe wait a couple of days till they kind of came off their whatever and be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Where now, like, I've got mates who just ring me on the way home from work and stuff. I'm like, oh, what do you want? It's like, how you feeling? How you getting on? You know, what you been up to?
Just checking in, catching up.
This wasn't talk I'd have before.
Yeah.
You know, it would be like what are you doing tonight?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
You know, now I've actually got like proper relationships with people.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just like a exchange of who can get what, who needs what have you got on you?
Yeah.
Or whose house can we go back to?
Yeah.
You know? So it makes a massive difference having. I've got a couple of friendship groups. I've got my football mates. I've got mates who I'm in recovery with. They're generally the people I talk to the most.
Yeah. They understand. They understand.
And that's another thing. My dad, when I first came into recovery, he said, you need to go and find people who understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
We don't have a clue.
That's it.
You know, my dad's never taken drugs in his life.
Yeah.
My wife's never taken drugs in her life. You know, some of my family never taken drugs in their life. You know, and I said, go and talk to someone about what you're going through.
Yeah.
Who understands what you're going through, because we don't. And I think.
Which is quite smart, isn't it, really? It's good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
And again, like, my dad ain't stupid, and when he said that, I kind of thought, it kind of took a massive weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
I was like, well, at least he's kind of understanding that there's this problem that I'm having.
Yeah,
it's not like you need to sort yourself out.
Yeah.
So, come on, let's get sorted, you know. So it made a massive difference. But he was always the one I worried the most about upsetting, you know.
Yeah.
He'd always told me not to do it.
Yeah.
And I always seemed to go against what he'd said, you know.
Yeah, and to be fair, you've kind of mentioned your dad quite a lot, and it's kind of been quite nice to talk about him. Whereas I think you said earlier something about your dad, and what sprung to mind was your dad. If he hears this or heard you saying it, it'd be quite nice, because I think as men, as fathers or dads, kind of we strive just to sort of protect our families, isn't it? That's our purpose, provide and protect.
Yeah.
But then, so him hearing that, I bet he's like, you know, they've done all right. He's done all right by you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. You know,
and your mum, of course.
Yeah, my mum. You know, when I learned about addiction and stuff, you know, there's enablers in your life. My mum and dad were enablers, but they didn't know.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course.
I feel like when I started getting clean, my mum probably would have been the easier person to manipulate to help me carry on using. That's her son.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Whereas my dad is like, you ain't getting away with that with me.
The more tough love.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, my sister as well. Like, she's always been very loving, arm around me. She saved me from dying before. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, I ended up overdosing after 5 days of like no sleep and stuff. And I got let outside of a nightclub, and they just put me on the floor, you know. And she got a phone call to say, like, look, your brother's here in a state, man. I don't know if he's breathing or what. And I ended up going to hospital, getting resuscitated and stuff. And you know, my dad's always said to me, that's your guardian angel right there. Every time I was in the shit, my sister would get me out.
Yeah.
You know, my dad would always make me pay for the shit that I was in. You know, like taking me somewhere to apologise or put it right.
Yeah, that's it.
And my mum would always be the one left picking up the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having to like cradle me and put her arm around me and say, oh, look, it's going to be all right, you know.
Yeah.
So as a family dynamic, I've got everything there really that's helped me to get through this.
Yeah.
This kind of last year, and you know, my wife has just been so supportive. You know, like if I need a meeting, she'll say, "Go on." You know.
Yeah.
It got to a stage where I was doing 3 a week, and my wife needed some more support at home with the little one, because you know she's pregnant and exhausted.
Yeah.
And you know, she's been there for me and supported me to the fact that I've got to 3 year clean, and now it's like I'm comfortable enough to be able to take a couple of nights off a meeting.
Yeah.
And be at home, and you know, without the recovery of my addiction, there isn't a home for me. There isn't a family for me, and my wife knows that, and she knows that this isn't possible unless I am still doing the right things I need to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my dad's been a massive play in this. He took me to my referral for my first stint for my stint in rehab, and my sister actually referred me there because she'd met someone who got clean through that rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So I think as soon as my dad knew the situation, it made it so much easier for me.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, I don't have to hide this
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. You can kind of shut down that one wall or barrier, can't you?
Yeah. Everything I don't have to hide anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to hide a single thing. Whereas before it was hide as much as possible from my dad as I can. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a main reason as to why our relationship is so much better today than it was when I was in active addiction.
Love that. Right, and so you're 16 months sober.
Yeah.
what's the plan now? Kind of, so what's happened has happened, and you've recovered. Yeah. What's the future look like now for Lewis?
So
and your family.
Obviously, another daughter on the way.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Just keep cracking on with my recovery. Build the business. Do a few more things. I want to do this thing called the XCC challenge, which is like you go out in the wild for 3 days, no phone. Survival kind of stuff.
Okay.
I've got my ultra marathon coming up.
Yeah. So ultra marathon, is that when you're sort of running, swimming, cycling?
No, it's 50-kilometre run around Snowdon.
Okay.
So I think there's a bit of orienteering involved. But yeah, that'll be a struggle, man. Like my best mate's done it. He said it took him 12 hours, and but it's kind of now a mental kind of strength thing of
that's it.
Can I do this?
But it also gives something to focus on as well, doesn't it?
That's massive for me. If I feel like I'm not achieving or I'm, not proving myself, I get a bit like, I need to be doing something.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I was left alone with my little one again. Could be trusted. Probably like 9 months clean. As soon as I sat down, I had nothing to do. My head was back on I need to do drugs.
The noise come back.
That's all the noise because I'm not used to being able to sit with myself. So I kind of feel like at the moment I've always got to have something going on. But yeah, just to keep kind of bettering myself really.
Yeah.
Keep turning up for my family. Keep spreading the message and with my Mankind meetings. Keep giving support to other people, really.
Yeah, definitely. Nice. So we do this thing towards the end of the podcast. We kind of like quick fire questions. Answer however you want to answer them. Well, I'll chuck a question at you, and then sort of just answer it however you see fit. It doesn't have to be super quick. But what has been your biggest adversity?
Probably dealing with 2 good friends dying while in recovery.
Yeah. Okay.
One of them I was starting to get a really good relationship with.
Yeah.
Recently, and he's passed away 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And yeah, it was over Christmas. Again, another bad time for me because my cousin went missing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there was times where I felt like using.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted it all to stop for a bit.
Yeah.
But being able to just be a child for some other friends and stuff like that. That's been helpful. But losing a couple of friends this year has been a big challenge and not using.
Can imagine, yeah.
So, but if anything, it's kind of made me feel a bit stronger about it,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good kid, man.
Yeah.
2 good lads. Yeah.
How did they die?
One of them died over in Thailand.
Yeah.
We're not quite 100% sure on what's gone on yet.
Oh, okay.
So I can't really say much on it. And then
another
friend of mine who I was in rehab with and I lived with, he ended up hanging himself a couple of months ago now. So, he's got a 1-year-old daughter and it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible to hear. He had troubles with addiction himself. But he was the first lad who met me at the door of my second meeting. And we exchanged numbers quite quickly and we were really good mates over the past year. And, unfortunately he lost the battle with it and ended up killing himself. But he was a top lad, man. Top lad.
You're sorry to hear that. What has life taught you or taught you?
Life's taught me, man, honesty is the best policy.
Yeah, nice, yeah.
It's taught me as well, it's a struggle, but, as long as you can talk to people, don't hold it in, don't bottle it in. The stigma of, you're a man, you've got to be this big man and stuff, complete rubbish, man.
Yeah.
Just tell people what you need to tell them, man.
Yeah,
if you're struggling, just reach out to people.
Yeah, so true, isn't it?
It's easier with other people than it is on your own.
That's it. Best advice you've been given? So what's the best advice someone's told you?
Best advice I've ever been given, man. Treat others how you want to be treated. Yeah,
nice. Love that. It kind of explains one of my mottos in life. Kind of, if I want respect off you, I've got to be respectful, haven't I? Advice for young people or anyone struggling?
Reach out. Tell your parents, tell your family. They'd rather see you get out of it than stay in it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Love that.
Talk your truth, man. Just let everyone know what's going on for you.
Yeah, wicked. Favourite quote or saying?
Don't know, at the moment it's got to be keep coming back.
yeah. Love that.
That kept me clean.
Yeah. 3 fundamentals you live by?
work hard, be there for people. Just, yeah, man. Got to keep your head in check as well, man. You got to know when you're struggling yourself. Don't bother it up. Make sure you tell everyone else what's going on.
Yeah, kind of be self-aware.
For sure, yeah, self-awareness is a big thing. You know, have good values.
Yeah, nice. And then do this thing where I get every guest to ask a question for the next guest.
Yeah.
And then the last guest asked, what is the scariest thing about life?
You know what? Scariest thing about life?
Yeah.
Trying to drag yourself out of somewhere alone.
Yeah.
On your own, man. Being alone is the scariest thing about life.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. Yeah, for sure.
Nice. And then what question would you ask for the next guest?
What can you do differently to achieve your goals?
Oh, nice. And then that question to you?
Oh, do you know what? Trust people more.
Yeah. Nice. Do you know what I think for me, to achieve my goals, I need to be more consistent and more efficient. Yeah, I think I need to be more productive with my time. Yeah. Like, I do a lot and I've got a lot going on sometimes, but then sometimes I look back, I will lie in bed and I think, I've not used that window of time enough.
Yeah.
But then sometimes though, I'm being too hard on myself.
For sure, we
beat ourselves
up.
Yeah.
When you feel like you've got a lot going on, we beat ourselves up.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
But anything else you want to finish up on? And also give your socials a shout out.
Yeah, so on TikTok at the Sober Sparky. On Instagram it's Lou Electrical. Yeah, that's TikTok and Instagram really. That's what we do.
And then the mental health men's group you do?
Yeah, so we've got a mental health group called Mankind Meeting. We're on YouTube as the Mankind Meeting. We have guest speakers. We do workshops like energy healing, tapping, sound bowls, holistic, holotropic breath work, where you end up,
what's that? Holotropic?
Oh, mate, that's serious. That is.
Yeah.
You end up releasing DMT into your brain.
Okay.
It's like an old ancient technique.
Yeah.
And you have some visions and stuff. It's pretty much the closest thing to taking psychedelics you can do for breath work.
Yeah.
I thought it was a load of rubbish when I first heard of it.
Yeah.
It was the best experience of my life.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was insane, man. I ended up having visions of like my family looking over at me, like wagging their finger as if to say, like, "What are you up to?"
Yeah.
I had a vision of like walking hand in hand with my daughter into like a big forest, and that was some seriously cool stuff.
Like, it opens up your mind, kind of thing.
Oh, mate, it's like you're dreaming. And, that was insane. I felt wobbly for a few days after that. But yeah, so on the fourth week we'll have workshops. First week we do a check-in, find out how everyone's getting on. Is there anything they need to talk about? Second week we'll do like spiritual sticks or a little card thing where it will ask you questions. You talk about what's going on for you. Week 3 we have someone who comes on and just guest speech about their like beliefs and thoughts on mental health, what struggles they've had, how they've dealt with it. We'll have like sports therapists come in and talk about how that helps with mental health and stuff. So it is for men, but we've been planning on talking to a woman about maybe doing one for women, but we feel like there's not enough support around there for men.
I think so too.
The stigma of bottling it up and big men don't cry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We know it's a silent killer, man. The percentages of mental health deaths in men are so much higher than women, and I think it's just nice to have a safe space for men to come and talk about what's going on for them, whether it be divorce or addiction or some lads have changed a phenomenal amount since coming into these meetings. My mate who ended up killing himself expressed that he wanted to come to the meeting, but unfortunately he'd got the day wrong, and then by the Friday. He was meant to come on the Tuesday, by the Friday he ended up hanging himself, and it's like that guilt of, had you got there, would you have been all right? Yeah. We never know, but it's just somewhere someone can come, have a little conversation about what's going on for them, we're all men at the end of the day, and we need to talk more.
Exactly. What's called Mankind?
It's called Mankind, yeah.
So for people listening or whatever, if the Google's Mankind, they could find it.
So if you put in mankindmeeting.com,
mankindmeeting, yeah.
On YouTube, it's Mankind Meeting. I can always send you over the stuff.
Yeah,
a flyer or something.
Yeah.
And it's based in Warwick.
Yeah.
And we'll come and meet up and we'll all have a chat and a coffee and stuff like that.
Yeah, sounds good.
We do little walks and hikes and stuff.
Yeah, I think I know a few people that do things like this. Yeah. Nice. Anything else?
Stay safe, man, and just try not to go down the dark hole of drugs.
Yeah.
And if you do feel like you're slipping down there, just reach out, man.
Nice. Do your best and be your best.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, fella. Top man. Nice one.
Cheers, fella.
Thank you very much.